Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. Shema Mashiach Barak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. And Yahushua is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. First, I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there and laboring. They're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. They're doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, they're enduring the elements, the 100-degree weathers, the freezer below colds, and everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty Aqua, the sisters that are at home, but they're reverencing their husbands. They're being teachers of good things, tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to all of the mighty teenagers and children in the truth as well, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in the last days. Right? And by the topic of this code cut, this title, you must watch and pay close attention to what you give your spirit unto. Right? You have to watch and pay attention to what you give your spirit unto, because in the last days, it's a lot of distractions and seducing spirits out here, and they're trying to attack your spirit, chiefly since the day that you came out the womb, right? There's certain spirits set on the earth and evil spirits to cause you to be distracted from your true purpose in serving the Most High God, Yahweh Bashma Mashiach Malak Yahushua. And in America, you have a lot of sorcery, witchcraft, secret councils, things set up, subliminal messages to literally pull your spirit into a rabbit hole to where you're not focused on the Most High God at all. You don't know yourself. You're lost. And we have to pay attention to these different things so we could properly fulfill our duty as the Israelites and fear the Most High and keep His commandments as it is written. All right. So first, we want to get this precept in Proverbs, right? Let me share my screen. All right, shalom, everybody that's tuning in to the live stream, Most High willing. All right. First, I want to go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4 and verse number 23. All right. Proverbs chapter 4 and 23. And it reads, keep thy heart with all diligence, right? It says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Now, what does it mean by keep thy heart? Your heart is your mind. It's also interchangeable with your spirit. So you have to be able to keep your mind and your spirit, your mental health, with all diligence. What does it mean, keep your heart with all diligence? You have to diligently watch the things that you give into your heart. Just like you will watch what you give into a child, you wouldn't feed it certain foods. You wouldn't put it in certain environments, because whatever you put it through or give it unto it, that could literally overtake the child. So it's the same way with your mind, and it's the same way with your spirit. You have to diligently keep these things, or else all hell could break loose. Right? So I'm going to read that again, Proverbs 4 and 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And that's where life proceeds from. That's where your thoughts proceed from. Your actions is established by your heart, your mind, your spirit. How do you operate, how you move. So if that is corrupted, guess what? All of your ways is going to be corrupted. You're not going to know what's going on. You're going to be lacking of understanding. So that's why it's very important, again, to keep your heart. Why? Because, again, you living in the most wickedest kingdom of all time, where it's nothing but witchcraft, soothsaying, and sorcery going on. to keep you from your true purpose on the earth as serving the Most High. Let's go to that in the book of Nahum, chapter 3. Let's go to Nahum, chapter 3. All right, this is the book of Nahum, third chapter. All right, Nahum, chapter 3, and verse number 4. It reads, because of the multitude of the it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft. Now, who is this talking about? It's talking about Babylon the Great. You can link this up with Revelation chapter 17, going into the mother of all harlots, being Babylon the Great, aka America. It says the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. So America comes up with a lot of witchcrafts and sorcery and propaganda and certain things to keep your mind and your spirit in darkness. The majority of our people, guess what? We fall directly for the trap, right? We fall for the snare. Next thing you know, we're caught up in things that we shouldn't have business catching ourselves up in. So that's why you have to guard your spirit, man. If you're not, your spirit is under attack every single day. If you're not protecting your spirit, if you don't have your guard up, if you don't have the armor of the Lord, guess what? You're gonna get pierced through by these different demons. Next thing you know, your spirit is gonna be corrupted. If your spirit is corrupted, then guess what? You might as well give it up, man. Because we don't have too long left. We don't have a lot of time for grace period left to just follow you around. You have to literally protect this like it's your life. Your spirit, that is your life. So if you're not protecting it, like you wouldn't want to die. See, a lot of people, they want to die, so they don't care. But if a man that doesn't want to die, he's going to be protecting themselves, right? He might have to walk around with a firearm, might have a blade in the back of his pocket. That's how you have to be with your spirit and these different demons that's trying to attack it and distract you. You have to always be watching. You have to be sober minded. You have to be spiritual eyed, or else all hell could break loose. Right, let's go to the book of First Peter, the 5th chapter. So this is very imperative because what Jake doesn't know this. All right, Eve, they don't understand this. That's why their minds is all polluted. And they're literally like a city broken down without walls. Let's go to First Peter, the 5th chapter. Right? Just the book of First Peter, chapter 5, and verse number 8. All right. First Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, meaning be of a sound mind. Be vigilant, meaning being always on watch. Let me see if I type in that word. All right. Let's type in the meaning of the word vigilant. All right, this is literally the definition. Keep careful watch for possible danger or difficulties. That's what the word vigilant means. So you have synonyms meaning watchful, on the lookout. How many brothers are on the lookout 24/7 for their spirit? Observant. You have to literally watch certain things, like a lion would watch his prey. Sharp-eyed. See that? Keen-eyed. You have to be always on the lookout to protect your spirit, to be careful for watch for possible danger. Just like you would see a vigilant lion, guess what? He's looking around, right? He's being aware of his surroundings. All right. He's looking this way, might look that way before he attacks the prey. This is how a lion is vigilant. And that's how the spiritual demon Satan is. He's like that roaring lion. He's roaming around seeking who he could. He's seeking a person that's not watching. All right, because if you see a lion coming, you might run. You might have the tranquilizer to put it down. You're gonna do something. But if you're not watching, guess what? That lion is gonna overtake you, and you're gonna be devoured. Thus saith the Lord. So it says, we go back to First Peter, the 5th chapter. It reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." So unless you're vigilant, and we always say, make sure you watch the prophecies, right? Make sure you do this, watch these current events, but the most important thing you want to watch is your spirit. Let's go to that in Malachi chapter 2. You want to take heed to thy spirit. That's written. Go to Malachi, the 2nd chapter. All right. Go to the book of Malachi, the 2nd chapter. This is Malachi chapter 2 and verse number 15. And it reads, "And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the spirit, and wherefore one, that ye might seek a godly seed." Because during this time you had the Jews, they were dealing treacherously with their wives. And the Lord, he wasn't with that. Reading on, just the point. "Therefore take heed to your spirit," right? "Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth." The point is, the Lord said, take heed to your spirit. Because your spirit, again, that's your life. That being said, you want to watch what you give into your spirit. What are you taking? You have to make sure your spirit is up to date. Is it freshened up? Is it clean? Just like you would take care of your physical body, that's how you have to take care of your spirit. You have to feed your spirit. You can't overfeed your spirit. You have to make sure your spirit gets rest. You literally have to take care of your spirit like you would take care of your flesh. Now, on a carnal level, Jake, he doesn't always take care of his flesh. Certain men, they don't wash up. Certain men, they don't have their hygiene up to date. Certain men, they eat anything. You don't want it the way it's so with your spirit. So what we got pulled up today is a list of different distractions, right? That not only brothers in the truth or sisters in the truth might experience, nevertheless, but man in general goes through these different things, and they're literally feeding their spirit things that they're not supposed to be feeding it. Again, your spirit is ultimately like your stomach, or chiefly like your body. You got to watch what you give into it, chiefly like a child. You got to literally maintain that the carefulest way you can. And we have a list pulled up right here. So you could pull it up. We got a list literally pulled up, as the sisters can see my screen, of certain things that you want to watch what you give your spirit into. Watch these different distractions. Because this right here, these 5 keys, probably some more keys out there, but nevertheless, these main 5 keys is what's keeping man from the tree of life. It's what's keeping man from this truth. All right? It's what's keeping man from serving the Most High that much more. Chiefly pursuing a Baruch 4 and 28. All right? So let's go to the book of Job. All right, let's go to the book of Job, chapter 34. Let's go to the book of Job, the 34th chapter. Let's deal with each one of these points. All right, it's the book of Job, chapter 34, and verse number 3. It reads, "For the ear trieth words, as the mouth tasteth meats." See that? So your ears literally try words just like somebody would try the food that they eat before they literally eat it. It's the same thing with your ears. So your eyes is literally, it's the same thing. Your eyes, your ears, your mouth, all of these different things are on a spiritual level. So on a just like you would eat on a physical level, guess what? You eat, you have to feed your spirit. Now the Lord said he has, let's go to Isaiah chapter 55, verse 1. So you have your ears, they literally try words and they go straight to your mind and it causes you, depending on what you hear, it goes to your mind and it could cause you to do certain things. Likewise with the food that you eat. You could eat certain things and it can make you feel bad or it can make you feel good. That's just on a physical level. It's the same thing with your spirit. What are you eating? Doctrine, right? These are different type of foods. Now you have bad foods and you have good foods. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 1. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. So the Lord said, the people that's thirsty on a spiritual level, come to the waters. Water is something that everybody could drink. It's healthy for you. It's good for you. You need it to survive. And he that have no money, come ye, buy, and eat, right? So you have a diet in this thing. Yeah, come buy wine and milk without money and price. See that? So you have wine, milk, butter, meat, bread. All of these are synonymous with good foods. But guess what? Even in the world, you have foods that's not good for you. Junk food, all right. Um, hot crunchy curls, hot Cheetos, donuts. And on a spiritual level, that's what you might be feeding your spirit. You might be feeding it donuts, right? You might be feeding it nothing but candy and sweets, all right? Just like you would feed yourself on a physical level. Your stomach might hurt after you eat those foods. You're not feeling too well. And you might get these different diseases and ailments. It's the same way when you feed your spirit. You have to know what you're feeding your spirit. Now, with that being said, you have the bad foods. And literally, all of this, the bad music, social media, the bad company, right? All of these things literally follow into the category of the bad foods. They all follow into this category. Because what, again, if you're doing one of these things, and we're gonna tackle them, guess what? You're literally feeding yourself harmful foods. Let's go to that in Sirach chapter 30. You have to have a good diet. You can't just be in this truth. A lot of brothers, they come into the truth and their diet just changes, man. That's even on the physical level. Or you came in the truth, brother, you wasn't drinking yan all the time, right? You wasn't having all of these fast foods you was eating all of the time. You probably used to eat healthy. But you came into the truth, you got laxy daisy, you start drinking 1800. These different things, you stop working out, right? Stop being in shape. That's likewise on a spiritual level as well. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 30. So you have to, just because you're an Israelite, that doesn't mean anything. You still have to properly take care of yourself and your diet. Or else, guess what? You're going to be all crooked. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 30, and verse number 25, right? Sirach 30 and 25. It reads, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet, right? So a cheerful and a good heart is going to have care of his meat and his diet. That's physically, and that as well as spiritually. You want to maintain your diet. Just like you don't want to always be in a meat, you're always in the book of Revelation and Daniel and second Esdras. 11 and 12, and Daniel 11, Daniel 7. You don't go to the milk, don't drink no water. You just eat milk, meat all the day. Guess what? Your diet is just jammed up. If you eat just meat on a physical level and you don't drink no water, no milk, anything, no bread, guess what? You're gonna have high cholesterol. You're gonna get yourself jammed up. You have to have a balanced diet. So the first thing we're gonna tackle is the so-called this social media technology, right? Which is what most of the Americans is being fooled by and bewitched. Now inside of social media and your cell phones, right, and these different things, guess what? You got a world inside itself. You got Instagram inside of it, or you got TV shows on social media, Netflix, Snapchat, Facebook, and this literally what takes the spirit away from man. You see, in the let's look up how many people are on their phones daily. It says what? 81.6% of Americans, totaling 27 270 million people, own a smartphone as of 2023. So it's showing you the percentage of how many people have a smartphone. Guess what? You have little kids. They have phones now, man. 6-year-olds, they have iPhone 15, iPhone 14s, 13s, right? They have MacBooks and tablets. That's what they have now. It says the average American spends 5 hours and 24 minutes on their mobile device. Each day, Americans check their phones on average 96 times per day. See that? Or once every 10 minutes. There are roughly 6.92 billion smartphone users across the world. So guess what? You know what people on a daily basis are giving their spirits to? Their spirit to their cellular device, to their smartphone. All right. It says what? 96 times per day, about you might pick this thing up. Now you got certain brothers, they pick up their phone 400 times a day, man. 400 times a day, and it's not educational, right? They on Instagram, you might be scrolling on your timeline for 2 hours, really for 10 minutes. Then you say you were gonna stop after the 10 minutes. But it kept continuing. It turned into an hour. Next thing you know, an hour and 30 minutes then passed. Now you're watching YouTube videos on folly, right? We all done it before. Nevertheless, hey, you can't make this up. 96 times per day, over 5 hours. Certain brothers, they on their phone for 24 hours straight. Eve on their phone so much, and it's nothing but folly and madness going on. And that's what's literally polluting their minds. It says, what is the percentage of phone addiction? 47% of Americans admit they're addicted to their phones. The average American checks their smartphone 352 times per day. 71% of people spend more time on their phone than with their romantic partner. See that? And that's spiritual because who is your ultimate romantic partner? Right? This right here. This is your romantic partner. This is who you're supposed to really spend most majority of your time with. But instead of doing that, you feed your spirit to your cellular device and the media. That's why insecurity is very high in our communities, man. Because we want to be like somebody that we've never seen before that's all the way in another state or somewhere. It's manyfold different things. Nevertheless, these cell phones and this technology, guess what? is going to get a lot of people destroyed, right? It's going to get a lot of people destroyed. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 23. And you have to ask yourself, are you giving your spirit to your phone? Right? Are you giving your spirit into the internet? Are you paying attention to what you give your spirit into? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 23. We have certain Eves, they can't be up their phones. I remember this one Eve, she got her phone took away and she started cussing out her mom, man. Says she need her phone back. She can't survive without. Well, guess what? When Jacob's trouble kick off, she gonna have a hard time in life. And it's an EMP attack and it's a power outage. She's not gonna be a lot of Eves. You won't make it, man. I need my phone. Where's my phone? Guess what? In those days, it's not gonna be no phone. You're gonna have to get in tune with the earth. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, and verse number 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so as a man is thinking in his heart and his mind, so is he. Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The point is, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So literally, what you're giving your mind over into, that's gonna be your actions. So whatever you're seeing on social media, that's why you have kids. They seeing these different things, they acting it out. Parents saying, "What are you getting this from?" Well, guess what? They're getting it from their phones. And as a parent, you will want to make sure that's literally and controlled intact. Because the more you're on your phone into folly, that's literally wearing down your level of consciousness. That's why if you've been on your phone for a long periods of time, your head might start hurting, right? Your spirit just don't feel right. You uncomfortable. That's because you need to stop feeding that. Your spirit doesn't like that. Again, your spirit is like a digestive system. It's like your stomach. It's kind of like your body. Yeah, it has to eat, but you have to give it the proper foods. What you're supposed to be feeding your spirit is the words of life, the milk that you may grow. That's First Peter. Let's go to that. That's First Peter chapter 2:2. Wisdom, now that you understand it. All right. Maybe you could get in some meat, which is chiefly the breakdowns. Nevertheless, this social media is going to get a lot of people destroyed. Let's go to the book of First Peter, chapter 2. First Peter chapter 2 and verse number 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so, be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. Now, on another fold, we're all babes in this thing. Even if you've been 10 years in the truth, you're still not that of a man that's been 30 years in the truth. Nevertheless, 10 years in the truth is a long time. You can't just give a 10-year-old a phone and say, here. Because guess what? Now that 10-year-old is subjectable to all type of wickedness. You have sexual exploitation on these phones, man. Subliminal messages. Esau's recording you. You have all type of stuff. You have TikTok. Let me see how many people are on TikTok. It says TikToks have an impressive 1 billion active users every month who watch 1 million videos each day. In 2022, there were 84.9 million active users every month in the US. TikTok has reached a total of 3 billion downloads worldwide. The average TikToker user spends 52 minutes on an app each day. See that? And again, Esau sets these things up, man. You have somebody there watching 1 million videos each day on TikTok. 1 million, 1 million. Now you know what they could have did in that day? You could watch damn, you couldn't watch a million breakdowns, but you could get that. You could get pretty far. 1 million videos, and it's 9 times out of 10 is nothing but wickedness. So guess what? Now that man's mind and his spirit is going to be jacked up, right? Let's go to the book of Colossians. All right, let's go to the book of Colossians, chapter 3. When did the Most High say meditate on TikTok? A million views. I mean, a million videos, right? How is that going to give? That's literally going to cause you to dumb yourself down, man. Then you ask that person, what's your nationality? I'm pretty sure that person that's watched a million videos, they're not going to know, right? You have ease on there. They in the camera, seeing if they want to look good, right? Jakey on there, he trying to. The Most High's not dealing with that, man. This Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So it's plain upon tables. Your affection should be on heavenly things. You should be meditating on things that's true, things that's right. You should be giving your spirit into holy things, not things that's on the earth, which is vanity and vexation. Again, this is what you call different distractions that the so-called white man puts out. And guess what? Jake falls straight for the trap. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 35. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but that for that which is comely, that ye may tend upon the Lord without distraction. And that should be every brothers and sisters' goal, to tend upon the Most High without distraction, always abounding in the work of the Lord, having a spiritual mind. Because if you're watching a million TikTok videos, guess what? We already know your mind is carnal. If you're watching a million different things on YouTube, Snapchat, texting people all day, we all know that your mind is not focused on the Most High. It's obvious. We don't have to do a mathematical equation to figure that out. Let's go to Romans. All right, let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 8. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse number 7. I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. That's plain, because the carnal mind is enmity against God. So the carnal mind is enmity against God. You're watching a million TikTok videos, guess what? You're at enmity with the Most High God. Right? Lock in. Enmity, let's look up the definition. Right? It's the word definition for the word enmity, the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. Hostility and antagonism, right? Conflict, discord, contention. So guess what? Bitterness. So your carnal mind is automatically going to be contentious with the Most High. Why? Because the Lord is not dealing with carnal minds. It says, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. But ye are in the flesh, ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so, that ye be, that the spirit of God dwelleth in you. Now any man have not the spirit of Christ, he is none of his. Jumping down to verse number 13. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye live through the Spirit, if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. So through the Spirit, guess what? You have to watch you have to ask yourself, if you feeding your spirit your phone too much, right? If you have an Apple phone, they have something called screen time. So you could literally see how much time you're spending on your phone. All right. You could literally see that. You got screen time in your settings. And they give you feedback how many times you picked up your phone, this, that, and the third. Right. I remember one time it was this one brother I worked with. He was in the world. But I looked at his screen time. It said that he had 1,000 pickups in a day of his phone. 1,000 in one day. Right. So I mean, you want to use that. You want to put these things down, man. You should be able to properly function without your phone for several hours. If you got this is how you know you have an addiction. If you constantly find yourself, if you put your phone in another room and you every 5-10 minutes you constantly looking around trying to pick up something, that's how you know you have a phone addiction. And again, that's gonna wear down your level of consciousness. You're not gonna be able to focus on the precepts. Your mind gonna be all jammed up. Your mind is gonna be polluted, and you're not gonna be able to serve the Most High God. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. Again, for the people tuning in, we have these different things you want to watch or you don't want to give to your spirit. One of the things is the social media. You want to cross that out, man. You want to get your spiritual marker. You want to mark it out. You don't want to be giving your spirit this this wickedness. All right. Next, you have bad music. All right. Now the reason why we didn't put music because not all music is bad. You have music that's good for you. You have music that you could listen to and it could put a spirit on you and it could cause you to be fervent or want to serve the Most High God. So not all music is bad. But if you're giving yourself music 24/7, that's not good because it's not a just balance. Nevertheless, you have bad music. All right. Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 150. Let's go to Psalms chapter 150 and verse number 1. A lot of brothers, they think music is bad. No, brother, music is not bad. It depends on what type of music it is. This Psalms chapter 150 and verse number 1. Praise ye the Lord, praise God in the sanctuary, praise him in the firmament of his power, praise him for his mighty acts, praise him according to his excellent greatness, praise him with the sound of the trumpet, praise him with the psaltery and harp, praise him with the timbrel and dance, praise him with string instruments and organs, praise him upon the loud cymbals, praise him upon the high sounding cymbal. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord, praise ye the Lord. So you literally could praise the Most High with musical worship. All right, it's literally in our customs, in our culture to serve the Most High. Now, with that being said, how let's look up how many people listen to music. I'm pretty sure everybody listens to music. All right, if you say you don't listen to music, you just I don't know what to tell you. You have certain, but I don't listen to music. Nah, I just always listen to the breakdowns. But you can't be always listening to the break. Now you have certain brothers they do that. All right, certain brothers they don't listen to music. Out of the third, but you don't want to be. You have certain brothers they feel like music is horrible. All right, guess what? You had music. You had righteous music in the ancient world. You had the sons of Asaph, the Levites. They were singing songs. You had men on the harps, men on the minstrels. They would play in the ancient world, and it would be tunes and sounds and beautiful sounds created by the Most High God. The point is, it says an average person listens to 961 hours and 10 minutes of music per year. An average person hears roughly 1.3 million songs in their lifetime. It would take over 600 years to listen to every song in the world. Roughly 7.11 billion people listen to music. Seven is Esau says it's over 800. It's over at least eight, maybe 7.5, 7.7 billion people on the earth. Guess what? Esau is saying 7.1 through the statistics. I didn't make this up. Roughly 7.1 billion people listen to music. You know how many people that is? Right? 7.1 billion people listening to music. So how do you, if 7.1 people is listening to music, see, music is something very influential. Let's go to the book of Second Kings. Music could put a spirit on you. All right? Music is very spiritual. A lot of people don't know that. They just, it's music. No, brother, it's more than music. It's literally spirits in that. It's righteous spirits and it's evil spirits. Nevertheless, this Second Kings chapter 3 and verse number 14, it reads, and Elisha said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee nor see thee. Right? Now bring me a minstrel. Now what you had minstrels in the ancient world, certain men that would play certain tunes. It reads, and it came to pass when the minstrel played, so when he played that music, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. So it's certain music, certain tunes you could play, you could just feel in the spirit, right? You could feel righteous. You could feel like you want to serve the Most High. It's gonna motivate you, right? Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Then you got other music you listen to. It put a spirit on you. Now you want to go commit a murder, man. All right. Now you want to cheat on your woman. Not necessarily cheat on your woman, but now you want to be a whoremonger. All right. Now women, they want to break up with their husbands and leave. You had that one song by Beyonce. She said that to the left song, to the left, to the left. When you literally analyze that song, what she's saying is when you get home, all your stuff is to the left, man. You can get your stuff and get out the house. And the Most High is not dealing with that, right? That irreplaceable spirit. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 16. Right, this 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse number 14. But the spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, behold, now an evil spirit from God troubleth thee. Let our Lord now command thy servants, which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player on a harp. And it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto his servants, provide me now a man that could play well, and bring him to me. Then one of the servants answered and said, behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, that is cunning in playing, and a mighty valiant man, and a man of war, and prudent in matters, and a comely person, and the Lord is with him. Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse, and said, send me David thy son, which is with the sheep. So you had King Saul, the spirit of the Lord departed from him, and the Most High played him with an evil spirit. And in the ancient world, music was so powerful and so heavy that if a man had an evil spirit, a man that could come in and cunningly, he could play a tune, and that spirit could literally flee from that man. That's how powerful and influential that music really is. All right. Again, music is spiritual. That's why Esau puts all of these things in his music and it influenced Jake to do God knows what. For you know, and it says, jumping down to verse 23, and it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul that David took in heart and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. So David, he cast off the evil spirit from King Saul by playing the tunes. So how much more music affecting you every day? When people get sad, they listen to music. People get angry, they listen to music. People literally feed their spirit with music. Now, out of 7.1 billion people on the earth that listen to music, how many people think that's actually godly music? How many music? I mean, how many people you think listen to actual godly music? Right? You have this. It's a lot of wicked music out here, man. See, we could pull something up. All right. You have literal people. And people listen to all type of stuff. You have Esau, right? He's listening to heavy metal music. Let's go to let's pull something up. See that? Got heavy metal music. 21 million views. And guess what? This gets people into the spirit of just being a demon, man, a devil. See that? I don't know who that is, but guess what? Esau, this what type of music the so-called white man is into. The heavy metal music. All right. Doing God just being a demon. All right. Goddamn, you got you got nigga music. You got people they listening to King Von, right? And be a young boy. You got Jake, he listen this the type of music Jake listens to, man. Right? See that? Next thing you know, now you want to shoot and kill his brother in the streets. Listening to this. So music again is very influential. You got breakup songs Eve listened to, songs about leaving her husband, go being with another man, Mr. Steal Your Girl. All of this stuff people literally give their spirit unto and they don't know it. So you have to ask yourself what type of music. You have certain men, and guess what? Certain sisters, they listen to nothing but the breakdowns. They do listen to music, they make sure it's clean. It might be an instrumental. Because what you hear could literally corrupt your mind and your soul. It could alter your understanding. Next you know, you're becoming what you listen to all the time. If you listen to this all the time, guess what? This is what you're gonna become. That's written. Let's go to First Corinthians chapter 15. Right, it's the book of First Corinthians. Right, let's actually pull it up. Let's go to First Corinthians chapter 15. It's First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse number 33. It reads, Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. It says evil communications corrupt good manners. And what does that mean? Evil communications corrupt good manners. What it really means is the people that you're around could literally affect your spirit. It could corrupt somebody that's morally upright. And it's just not the people that you hang with, it's also what you give your spirit into. It could corrupt good manners as well. So if you're a decently and an ordered child, you grew up in the suburbs around a so-called white man, you talk proper English, you don't know what you don't know what killing really is, you don't know about what smoking weed is. If you start listening to NBA YoungBoy and PGF Newt and King Von and Little Dirt, guess what? Eventually, over time, that what he's listening to is gonna and what he's seeing is gonna start to affect the way he acts, and it could corrupt somebody that has good intentions. I want to pull this up. Fuck yeah. And I want to pull this up in a different translation. First Corinthians chapter 15 and 33. Right? First Corinthians 15 and 33, different translation. It reads, "Be not misled. Bad company corrupt good characters. Don't be fooled by those who say such things, for bad company corrupts good characters. Be not deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Bad company corrupts good character." All of these is beautiful different translations, but it's showing you that evil company, right? It's not just physically, but also what you give your spirit into. Guess what? It can corrupt your character. Now you're evil now, all because of things the music that you listen to. If you're a woman, it's a woman. They constantly listen to these Beyonce songs. All right, Meg Thee Stallion. Not exact. It's exactly why they act the way they act in today, in 2023. And that leads us to the next topic. Is again, we knocked out social media. You want to cross out the bad music. You don't want to be feeding your spirit this wicked music. All right. You also have bad company. All right. That could affect your spirit as well. The people that you hang with, the people that you associate yourself with, that could get you jammed up. We just read in First Corinthians 15 and 33, be not deceived, right? It says bad company corrupts good character. So the company that you're with, you don't want to be around, if you're in this truth, you want to be around godly, righteous men and women. You don't want to be around your parents all the time. They're in the world. You listening to what everything they say. Still around your friends in the world. All right. You still going after your ex-boyfriend. And the Most High is not dealing with that. Because that's gonna cause you to turn away from him. Why? Because you're unequally yoked. Let's go to that in 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Second Corinthians chapter 6 and 14. All right, this is the book of Second Corinthians chapter 6 and 14. It reads, Be not be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communication have light with darkness? Right? So it says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? Because your family in the world, they don't believe in this thing for real, man. If they did, if they truly believed, they wouldn't be acting the way they act. Your friends in the world, your associates, they wouldn't, your coworkers, if they really believed, they wouldn't be acting the way they acting, man. So you can't be unequally yoked. That's likewise for a woman and a man. If your husband, if he just evil and wicked, guess what? You want to be constantly around that man. Yeah, it is my husband. That's understandable if you live with him. You don't have anywhere else to go. But if you saying, yeah, that's just my husband, I'ma just do what he want to do. Well, he's unequally yoked, so guess what? I'ma just follow him. Notice you're gonna follow that man to destruction. You want to be somebody with the same mind that you have, right? It says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? It reads, and what concord have Christ with Baal? Or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? An infidel is somebody that doesn't believe. So it's saying that's like the sun and the moon. While the sun is out, it's like while the moon is out at night, the sun is right next to it. I mean, it's gonna be confusion. Likewise, a man that's he with somebody that doesn't believe. Your mind is you keep it. You have bad company, man. Right? You don't know. You're not aware of your surroundings. Your old friends come around. Instead of separating yourself, you say, well, I ain't seen this man in a minute. Let me just hear what he got to say. No, you have to. Okay, man. I don't know, man. He coming around. I don't want to say something I don't want to say. I don't want to get out of the spirit. Let me just move on. Let me just keep walking. Let me just ignore him. Let me just dap him up and then just take off. Or you don't want to be hanging around him, man. Next thing you know, you're at the mall, you buying on a Sabbath day, right? So to link that up, let's go to the book of Proverbs. All right. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 13. Let me actually pull it up on the screen. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse number 20. Proverbs 13 and 20. It reads, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise. So if you're walking with, let's say if we take a fool and you put a fool in the midst and this 20 men of the Lord around, over time, what do you think is going to happen? That fool, he's going to start to pick up on what he see these wise men doing. Dang, y'all serve the Most High. Okay, what's this about? Y'all read. Next, you know, a fool that never read in his life, now he starts picks up a book and read. He starts praying. I mean, because look who he is associated with. You have 20 men of the Lord around him. It reads, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. That's likewise with the godly man. If you put a godly man inside in midst of 20 evil men, believe it or not, unless the Most High removes that godly man from around them, over time, and you can say, well, hold on, well, that's a godly man. He's not supposed to do that. Or he turned into an evil man. He's outnumbered by wickedness. So if a man that's a wise man, if he's around nothing but 20, 30 evildoers, I'm not saying right away, but eventually over time, it's time, whether that may be 10 years, 15 years, 8 years, over time, he's going to slowly start to depart just because look at the company he's around, right? Just he's around wicked men. That's why the Most High had to get Enoch and translate him, lest that wickedness will alter his understanding. Let's go to that in Wisdom of Solomon. So that the company that you keep can definitely affect the spirit that you're moving in. You want to be around righteous men and women, talking about thus said the Lord and the precepts. If you don't have anybody to congregate with, you want to reach out, right? Ask this congregation, is it brothers in this area? Is it sisters in this area? You want to be around the brethren in the body. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. Right, this Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and verse number 10. It reads, he pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living amongst sinners, he was translated. So Enoch, that you read about in Genesis, right, the 5th chapter, guess what? It said he walked with God and was not, for the Lord took him. Meaning the Enoch during that time of the sons of God, he was living straight around nothing but evildoers. All right. And it reads, yeah, speedily he was taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind. So the Lord had to take Enoch up out of the earth, lest eventually, because he was outnumbered by wickedness, lest that wickedness eventually overtakes him. That's why the Most High got to show in the days for the elect's sake. Because if not, guess what? The elect wouldn't even be saved unless the Lord had shortened the days. Let's look up, can bad company affect personality? Or how can bad company, let's see what it says. It says bad company does not have a trustworthy feeling for his or her relationships. They want to do things in their own ways. They don't respect other people's emotions and opinions. They always used to get things unfair. What are the effects of a bad company of friends? A bad friend could be many things. Typically, they lead to mental and emotional fatigue, a lack of general well-being. See that? Why should we avoid company? Well, it's many-fold reasons. We just looking at what you have to say, Esau. All right. The point is, you want to make sure you're with a godly man or a woman. Let's go to Sirach chapter 37. And this happens to people every day. People actually get peer pressured just because of what their friends say in the world. It's not a coincidence that if a sister that's single, right, she's unmarried, Eve that's unmarried, that's 35 years old, unmarried, 9 times out of 10, she's gonna have 2, 3 other single sisters as well that she hangs herself around with. It's like clockwork, man. It's bound to happen. All right, let's go to Sirach. Let's go to Sirach chapter 37. Jake, that's inside of the streets, he's not gonna be hanging himself around with men that plays golf. So he's gonna be around other street dudes. So likewise with us in this truth, we can't be around the wicked or the unrighteous. We have to be around godly men. This Sirach chapter 37 and verse number 12. But be continually with a godly man, right? The Lord said, be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So you want to be with somebody that has the same mindset as you. Imagine you in the truth, you trying to get the kingdom of heaven, and you with somebody that's trying to open up a damn Ferris wheel. All right, it's not gonna work. Or it's trying to open up 60 businesses. It's trying to be a CEO of TikTok. Y'all goals is gonna be different. You want to be around somebody whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry, right? And you want to be around somebody when things go bad, they're gonna be there with you and exhorting you out of the precepts. Jake, people in the world, they're not going to give you the precepts to help you. They're going to laugh, throw things in your face. This Sirach, chapter 21. See what I want. Let's go to Sirach 27 and 12. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and 12. Sirach 27 and 12. If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time. So let's say if you are amongst evil men, you got to go to the grocery store, you got to do this, you got to do that. The Lord said you want to observe the time. Again, this all goes back to the lesson. Watch what you give your spirit unto. First Peter chapter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant. Malachi 2 and 15, take heed to your spirit. You want to observe the time. It says, but be continually among men of understanding. Continually, all the time, be among men of understanding. All right. The Lord said, let the righteous, let's go to that in Sirach chapter 9. Let just men eat and drink with thee. Right, this Sirach chapter 9, I'm going to start at 15. Let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. And let just men eat and drink with thee, and let thy glorying be in the fear of the Lord. So it's to the who you sit with, right? Who you hang with, who you're around. Let just men eat and drink with you. And you don't want to just get around a brother in the truth because he's just in the truth. So you have wicked men in the truth as well. If nobody's not coming out of the precepts, you have false brothers, false sisters. They're not really in this thing. You want to be somebody whose spirit is on the same page as you, not one thing in and one foot in, one foot out, right? Let's go to the book of, you see what I want. Go. Read that Psalm chapter 10, right? Read that Psalm. That might be Psalm chapter 10. Salakia. All right. Let me see if I can find it. Psalms 26. Let's go to Psalms chapter 26 and verse number 4. Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 26 and 4. And it reads, I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the congregation of evildoers and will not sit with the wicked. So David said, man, this thing is so deep. It's even to who you sit down at the table with, right? You want to really watch the company that you keep, because again, this always affects the spirit and you want to make sure you're feeding your spirit the right things. And you don't want to give your spirit things that's not profitable unto it. So we tackle bad company, right? We tackle bad music, social media. You want to X all these different things that you might be feeding your spirit. You might be feeding your spirit bad company. So you might be on the media all the time. You might be feeding your spirit horrible music. But guess what? You got oversleep. All right. A lot of people, let's see how much everybody sleeps. All right. Everybody. You say you don't sleep. Well, you just a liar, man. See how many people oversleep. All right. Oversleep. Now, when you go into this, it's not a sin to sleep. You want to definitely get rest. But guess what? When you oversleep, now you're giving into something called, they say, hypersomnia. Oversleeping is called hypersomnia or long sleeping. This condition affects about 2% of people. People with hypersomnia might require as many as 10 to 12 hours of sleep per night to feel their best. Now, believe it or not, it's nothing wrong with sleeping, taking naps, etc. But people that get distracted in their idle time, the first thing they're doing, they're gonna give to their spirit sleep and slumber. Which you can't do that on a spiritual level, but even on a physical level, that could literally affect your spirit. You don't want to be slothful in this thing. And the average American is super over slothful, man. Now, yeah, certain Americans, they have high levels of discipline. They get the things done in this world, da 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 da. But you have the majority of Americans, they're obese, right? They're heavily slothful, sluggish. They're feeding their flesh 24/7. And it's not so with the children of Israel, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, the classic. All right, Proverbs chapter 6. Because a lot of people, they want to relax. They give to their spirit relaxation. This Proverbs chapter 6 and verse number 4. Give not sleep to thy eyes, nor slumber to thy eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. And the Lord said you want to deliver thyself from a roe from the hand of a hunter. What is a roe? A deer. A bird from the hand of a fowler. Somebody that kills and catch birds and snatch bird traps. That's how you want to run from that sleeping, right? That slumberness, that slothfulness. It says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Now, what's something that ants is always doing? They're always working. They're on the go, on the move, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little slumber, a little sleep, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. So if you give into yourself to the bad, again, you have bad things, you have good things. So sleep is not bad. You need it to be for your body to be able to function. But once you're giving yourself too much of something, now it turns into slothfulness. And majority of the people, the masses, these Americans, they don't know how to control it. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 20. Right, this Proverbs chapter 20 And 13, it reads, love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thy eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. So the Lord said, love not sleep. You don't want to come home off of work. You know, you're supposed to study, get these things in. You have literally people in the world, they come home, relax, put their feet up, watch shows, and they're giving themselves sleep spiritually, right? They're not feeding them, they're not awake, they're not putting that water that you need that water on your face, man, so you can wake up. They're putting themselves to sleep spiritually. And they're literally folding up their hands. Again, it can't be so with the children of Israel. So these different things, again, these are different distractions, things that you don't want to feed your spirit to. That's not often really talked about. Nevertheless, if you are feeding your spirit these things, you want to examine yourself and start feeding your spirit the things that it properly needs, or else your spirit is going to die off. Just like you have to take care of your physical, if you don't take care of your physical body, your physical flesh, eventually it's going to die off. It's likewise with your spirit. You have to make sure you protect and take careful care of your spirit, right? Or else, guess what? You're going to be caught out there and the Most High is going to get up with you, man. All right? It says, somebody said, Chris, is any godly music examples? Well, I mean, it's not like you're not gonna have music, you're not gonna have a record like with music from the ancient world. Okay, this is King David when he was playing the harp. It's certain records we just don't have. But I mean, I could give you music that I personally listen to. You have, um, I personally listen to instrumentals. Chiefly, sometimes I listen to the breakdowns and the videos, right, to have my mind be on a meditating on the Most High God. But as far as music, early music, I mean, I chiefly listen. You pull this up, right? I chiefly listen to instrumentals. So it might, I like certain sounds. If there's certain sounds I hear, I might play just the sound only, right? But so you have something called lo-fi. These are it's something you could listen to, put you into the spirit, right? You have jazz. Certain brothers they like jazz. See that you got the sade, right? You got the blues, something like that. You might be interested in uh meditation music. It all depends on your spirit, but I chiefly go with the lo-fi's and the instrumentals. I'm not really. I kind of cut the music short. Nevertheless, I might listen to a little something here and there, but you want to make sure your spirit is built up to be able to deal with that, right? You don't want to just hop into something. And as well, you have see this. You have brothers and sisters in the truth. They play music as well. So you could just go on YouTube, just type in truth music. All right. You got you got Kakam, truth music. All right. You got Israelite, or you could just type in Israelite music. Go on SoundCloud, YouTube. You got certain people they listen to Hezekiah, Yahweh. So you got different Hebrew Israelite music. You got different musics you could listen to. But that's some sort of the righteous music, right? Let me stop this. See that? Brother said, Annabelle the servant has some godly music. See that? So you could just type those things in. But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. Shema Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray, fast, and study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for His mercy. With that, I'm going to say Shalom. Pentecost is at sundown tonight, so make sure you keeping it in its respective season, right? Worshiping the Most High and keeping His high holy days. With that, I'm going to say Shalom.